taking action? Maybe it would. If you don't like RINOs, quit electing them. That would be the advice I think we would probably get from most, including Republican strategist Vlad Davidiuk joining us here on Newsradio 740 KTRH. So I want to ask you about the new Donald Trump social platform story. Looks like that's going to be happening. I mean, can you think of a better way for him to continue to be the powerhouse that he is with conservatives than to have his own social platform like that?
Look, I mean, whatever social platform Donald Trump is on, he's going to dominate it. And if it's something that is of his own creation, if it's something that is designed to bring his supporters, to bring people who align with his vision on board, that's exponential power right there.
I think
it's going to be huge.
I think there's a lot of people, though, who think that, or maybe they're just hoping, a lot of mainstream Republicans just hoping that with Donald Trump no longer in the White House and not on social media, the people will forget about him. The party will go back to, quote unquote, normal life in the swamp, which is what they would like to see. Do you see us returning to normal life in the swamp?
Look, I mean, it's bad enough that we have Democrats in majority. They own the House, the Congress, the Senate. We have, Kamala Harris as the power to be with Biden stumbling down the stairs. I don't think things will ever go back to normal because, or as what they would perceive to be normal, because the stakes are just so high. I mean, it's so clear that when Democrats achieve this full control of the levers of power of America, they were going to do whatever they could to get, fully on board their agenda. They are hell-bent on creating a socialist utopia in America, and they're not going to stop for anything. And so I think those who want to have a return to the halcyon days of the 1970s, where Republicans were in the small minority and the Democrats were able to do whatever they wanted, we're not able to return to that because people have seen what happens when Republicans have a strong leader and Republicans have a vision and Republicans have a positive view of the future. And I think that there are people who just refuse to go back to being quiet sheep led around by Democrats who are willing
I agree with that because
oblivion.
You're saying a socialist utopia for only a few is a dystopia for everyone else.
It is. I mean, look at what happened in cities like Minneapolis, Chicago, New York. These cities where they decided to play experiment with defunding the police and let rioters run rampant. Look at what's happening in Portland every single night. When you let that kind of toxic ideology take over a city, take over a society, you wind up seeing death, destruction, running rampant. It's a recipe for disaster. The Democrat leftist agenda is a toxic cancer on America.
Well, and you're preaching to the choir on that one. I guess my question, Vlad, is very simply, when do enough mainstream Americans, the ones who really don't pay all that much attention until it affects them personally, when will it affect them enough personally where they really start to pay attention?
Look, I think the COVID pandemic did a really big service in that regard. I think a lot of people saw that the restrictions and the overreach of government led to their business closing, led to them losing their jobs, led to their friends, their family, their neighbors being put out of house and home because they didn't have the resources available to maintain their livelihoods. I think that they know that a lot of these restrictions were put in place by governments that were not only overreacting, but overreaching because they thought it was a moment that they could. And I think that you're seeing Americans across the country refuse to go back. They're keeping their business open. They don't care about what kind of restrictions the government's putting in place. They're going to want to live their lives. They want to build their future for their kids. And I think that moment has really taught them it's on them. They have to choose to be free.